Monday. So it's good to get the week started. Before I call this meeting to order, I want to announce that some committee members, staff, and the public are attending remotely via Zoom as well as on site. All participants joining by phone should mute their phones when not speaking to avoid background noise. When speaking, please speak directly into a microphone to ensure everyone listening is able to hear your comments and to ensure a clear record is made. During the meeting, please make sure that you announce yourself by name and title every time you speak so that the public that is observing knows who is speaking. This is critical given the number of remote participants and its current guidance from the Kansas Attorney General. The public is allowed to participate by Zoom or submit comments by email prior to the meeting, and those comments will be included in the record of this meeting. The public may also indicate their intent to provide remote public comment by contacting the clerk's office by noon on the day of the meeting, by noon of the day of the meeting. The public also have an opportunity to provide brief comments either by telephone or via Zoom from the 5th floor conference room of the municipal office building. During the meeting, please make sure that you announce your name, yourself and your name every time you speak so that the public that is observing knows who is speaking. If public comments are allowed on the agenda, comments should be limited to the topic of that item. Disruptive comments and behavior are not permitted and may result in a removal from the meeting. My name is Andrew Davis. I'm the chair of the Neighborhood and Community Development Standing Committee. I will now call this committee meeting to order for June 30th, 2025. Clerk, can we have the roll?
Roll call. Hill.
Here.
Ramirez.
Here.
Townsend.
Here.
Bynum. We have an absent memo. Davis.
Here. Thank you so much, Clerk. We do have a quorum with the four of us. I appreciate folks making that happen. We have no minutes to approve, and so we'll get right to our committee agenda. If you all recall, before we ended our last meeting, which is pretty late at night, there was a promise to move the for information only items to the front of the meeting. And so I heard the cries of the committee loud and clear. And so we will have our first for information item, which I'm really excited about, is a presentation on housing opportunities, trends, and some potential different development ideas that we can do for infill housing. How this will work is staff will present. Afterwards, we'll do public comment. And then committee members, if you all have questions, if you can hold them to the end, that would be great. Write them down. That way we can continue on with the evening. Thank you so much. With that, staff, I'll go ahead and hand it off to you all.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm Judd Knapp. I'm the Land Bank Manager, and I'm here to talk about housing trends today with you. The first, how I start my presentations is always with why trends are changing. Basically, this chart says it all. The top line is housing prices, and the bottom line is the median income. So houses are getting more expensive and outpacing people's incomes. So that's why we're seeing homes getting smaller and then more people living together. Mark had a study and it said metro-wide, we're 12,000 to 24,000 units short of housing in metro-wide. Mix that with homes are more expensive and people need houses to live. The first housing type I want to discuss tonight is a manufactured home. First off, this needs to be these are seen as trailers in general. If they're on wheels, they can only be in mobile home zoning. But if you put them on a foundation and you put a storm shelter with them, they can be built in any residential area. These homes are cheaper to build than a stick-built home. The next one is panelized homes. These are factory-built homes. They build the walls in the factory, load them on the truck, and ship them to the job site and lift them with a crane. The benefits of this is they cost 10 to 25% less than a traditional stick-built home. They're 30% faster to build, and labor is less. And banks see these as a traditional stick-built home. Next one is modular homes. These are where like these whole cubes are built in the factory, shipped in on the truck, and then lifted in place and secured. The costs for these are cheaper too, at 10 to 25% cheaper than a stick-built home. But the speed that you can build these with, you can build one of these in 2 to 6 months versus a traditional stick-built home is 6 to 12 months. So that labor savings is really the cost savings we see here. Here's some additional photos of modular homes. This is a whole subdivision built in southern Johnson County, built with modular homes. We actually have 3 modular builds on land bank lots currently. There's one at like 12th and Barnett. It should be finished very soon. And I'm working with CHWC to maybe we get some tours of it so we can walk inside of one of these modular homes to see what they look like. The next one is multi-generational housing is another trend. This is where you're living with your grandparents move in with you to live because instead of having 2 houses, you just have one, and that's cheaper. This is an increasing trend because in 1971, 7% of our U.S. population lived in multi-generational housing. In 2021, 18% live in multi-generational housing. And the why for that, it's cheaper to live together, and you could also be a caregiver for your aging parents. Next one is backyard cottages or accessory dwelling units or AADUs. These come in many names, but the definition is you just have an apartment that's built behind your single-family home. And the benefits for these are the homeowner gets additional rental income, and that rental income could offset their mortgage. So it's cheaper to live. You get a property value increase. Homes are worth more if they have an accessory dwelling unit with them. And then this is an affordable housing solution because not everybody needs a 3-bedroom home, and that opens up that 3-bedroom home that person living in this ADU would have, but they're living behind somebody, freeing up that three-bedroom home. These are examples of all the different types of accessory dwelling units that are out there. The one circled above the garage is the one that is currently allowed in our code. So it's only available for narrow lot guideline built homes, and it's only available for new construction currently. And the last one we have is the missing middle housing. This is missing middles are duplexes and fourplexes, because in the 1940s there was single family zoning that went single family or apartments and left out that huge middle section. And these are coming back, the duplexes and fourplexes, because it's cheaper to build a duplex than to build 2 single family homes. So that's why we're seeing more of these coming. And that concludes my presentation. I'm going to hand it over to Michael Sutton to do his.
Good evening, Michael Sutton, Redevelopment Coordinator. Tonight I'll be speaking on pre-approved housing plans. So just to start to give everybody a 30,000-foot view of this, essentially pre-approved plans are housing plans or building plans that have already been checked against code, and they will meet code, and they meet zoning requirements and neighborhood approval. So essentially what we're trying to do here is speed up the timeline to get houses built, to get different housing, make different housing available, make it permit ready, essentially, for both small and large developers. So a little bit of background just on why they're needed, really piggyback off of what Judge's presentation was. As everybody's well aware, we do have a housing shortage, not only here in Kansas City, Kansas, but across the country. So the idea behind pre-approved plans, make building easier, faster turnaround time, and revitalize the neighborhoods. A lot of communities that, we looked into who already are doing this, they're doing this in infill development. So taking the infill lots and then being able to plug in these pre-approved designs. So just kind of a little chart on the current system. So essentially, I know that looks kind of complicated, but the way it is right now, they need to go through, or a developer would need to go and get their architectural plans, from an architect, from an engineer somewhere. And what this would do is provide them with those plans to be able to skip that step and go right into the review process. So we asked the question of how can we turn land bank lots into a Zillow listing? And what we mean by that is how can we make it as simple as going on Zillow, for example. If anybody's familiar with that app, you just open it up and then you put in your filter for what you're looking for, and it provides you with everything that you're looking for. So that's what we're really trying to get to here. So I did quite a bit of research with different communities on their pre-approved plans. Kalamazoo, Michigan actually has one of the stronger programs in the country. Again, they hit multiple housing types as well. So we're talking single families, duplexes, townhomes, fourplexes. So it really allows you to provide a good variety of housing topologies. And again, of course, it's going to meet local code with these designs. So this is just an example of some of the typologies that Kalamazoo, Michigan has: cottage house, single family homes, duplex, fourplex. More examples from the Kalamazoo catalog. And again, you may not be able to see on the far left-hand corner at the bottom, but it also gives the dimensions. So it's very specific on the types of lots that they can build on. They have a design specifically for a 25-foot lot, for example. They have a design specifically for a 50-foot lot. And then it'll also make sure that it meets zoning for that area as well. This is an example from the Grand Rapids. This is pulled directly from their website. So as you can see, they try to make it very user-friendly. You can go in, browse your options, select, then go and apply for your building permit, and construction begins. With that, I do want to say that while you can have pre-approved plans, every site is a little bit different, and so that would still need to be taken into context. So obviously, a site with a 8-foot slope versus being completely flat, those are going to be a little bit different on how they bring the utilities in, for example. So while there are pre-approved plans and the design is good, everyone would still need to go through some type of utility review on how they're going to get in. So again, another example of a pre-approved plan for Grand Rapids, Michigan. Continuation of that. South Bend, Indiana was another one. They did a really good job of explaining everything that needs to go into it, where again, they're looking at the building type, the zoning, the site-specific context, land survey that'll still have to happen. like I said, they do a really good job of breaking all of that down and letting the applicant know before they pick a plan, everything that they're going to need to do to get that plan still through to where they're actually building. So just an example of what other communities have generally done. Once they put out some type of RFP to get plans back from architects, they take those plans and run them back through the community because that's a major part of this. Again, this is to expedite this instead of having to go through with and make sure the community is going to like it. You do that up front, and so you know that within this neighborhood, this design is going to work. It's already going to have community approval. That's example from the Douglas Sumner redevelopment plan. This will be another, again, example of, hey, we know that this type of design is what the community wants. This is what we can put in, so why not have that on a pre-approved level? And doing some extra research into this, me and Judd thought that this could actually be taken to another step, especially with the amount of land bank lots that we have. Certain blocks where we have a high number of land bank lots, we could also go into it and let them know what the infrastructure is going to be like per block and what it's going to take to truly redevelop these blocks, in addition to the pre-approved plan. So we would basically be able to give them a cost breakdown of specifically what it's going to take to rebuild these blocks. Closer look into what that could possibly look like. And then again, a breakdown of how that could possibly look. So once you go through the community process and everything's been approved, publish the plans online, then work with the builders to get feedback. And then we feel like we could also tie this in with some of the current incentives we have, like the NRA program, to really hold things in place in these neighborhoods. And this concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sutton and Mr. Knapp. I'm going to first hear from our community and open up public comment period. And then afterwards, committee, want to open it up for questions as we transition to the next order of business. Clerk, do we have any public comment received for this item? For our clerk's office? You're fine.
No comments were received.
Any hands raised online?
There are no hands raised online.
Okay. For the folks that are here in the gallery in person, would anybody like to speak to the item that we just discussed? Okay, let the record show no one has approached. I'll go ahead and close the public comment portion. Committee, a lot of information, new information. There's a lot of potential on where we can take the land bank, where we can take kind of the future of our infill housing needs. Commissioner Ramirez, you had a comment?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Knapp, Mr. Sutton, for the presentation. I have had some knowledge of this, me doing my, going down the rabbit hole of researching things and looking up. One of the things that was on there that you did bring up was the missing middle. I have done an absurd amount of research and reading articles and just reading up about the missing middle and how that this is a different, as you said, different way of looking at housing. And those were ways that we used to look at housing, but then we kind of made a mind shift change into just single family homes. And I think now with this, I can say with this generation, I think that our housing typology is changing back to that little by little. as you said, with the housing trends. So I thank you for bringing that and, educating the community that there's single family and multi-high rise aren't the only two forms of housing out there. There's a lot out there that we just need to try and see if it works. But of course, always make sure what we bring forward is what's best for the community. A thing that I'm going to myself, and I'm sure other commissioners will either agree with me, is I'm going to continue to ask staff to bring forward a zoning code update. We can have all these approved plans, we can have all these great ideas for housing, but if we don't have an up-to-date zoning code, we're just going to continue to play catch up as we have always had, as we have always done. And so it's just to staff, keep reiterating, we need a zoning code change, an update. We need to modernize it to what's happening across not just our metro, but across the country as well. Because that's also, we're falling behind in that matter. And so maybe once we have the zoning code update, all of these new housing, one example is the ADUs. On that screen, there were 6 different types of ADUs we could possibly have, but our current zoning code only allows 1 out of the 6. That's something that's also, that hurts us. It doesn't give us many options to work with. So it's, again, just reiterate, zoning code update. Bring that to us so that we can make changes, and so that not just housing, but all around, we can make it better. But thank you for all the information. I'm gonna definitely continue doing my own research and going in down that rabbit hole of looking at all the different. I'm definitely gonna look at Kalamazoo, as was mentioned, and just see how they're doing and how their process is. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, Commissioner Towns.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, Mr. Knapp and Mr. Sutton. Thank you for the presentation. Mr. Sutton, I think this would be slide maybe 14, that talked about the development areas. And you talked about under these pre-approved plans, your department would have the ability to evaluate and list infrastructure improvements by block. We don't have pre-approved plans yet. I could see this, could go in that direction. What would preclude your department from doing that now? What is it about the pre-approved plan approach that makes it easier for, say, you and Mr. Knapp to evaluate the infrastructure for the developer?
That is a very good question, and I'll have to do a little bit more research within our department to figure out how we can do that. I think that's a great idea. So I would agree with you that that is something that we should get working on. I'm not quite sure, but yes, I agree.
Well, even though we don't have pre-approved plans yet, I will definitely be sharing this presentation with the developer who will soon be breaking ground, hopefully in the Quindaro area. And he has a variety of structures, and I was directing him to some of the things that you talked about here that would fill in that gap, not only the single family homes, but the duplexes, the fourplexes, people who may be trying to get their first home, or, and they don't need the 3-4 bedroom, $300,000 plus range, and, maybe a duplex or a townhouse. So I will share this with them. Thank you. I know this was a lot of work and could be something to come for us. It's very interesting how the things have changed since COVID with people moving back to the ancestral home, so to speak, the need to take care of aging parents, which is what brought me back some years ago. So we need housing that fits a variety of financial and familial situations. So thank you for this presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner. I see Commissioner Hill has her hand up. Commissioner Hill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Mr. Knapp and Mr. Sutton for your presentation. I too am quite surprised at so many options that might be available. I only have one question, but let me make a couple other comments real quick. You showed us Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, and South Bend, their websites, and how easy it appeared to get stuff done, to get the plans can be approved, to really start that process. And my main question for you all would be, how close are we to cutting out some of the extra stuff that the individuals or developers have to do? What can we do different on our website to be more focused on getting the job done without taking 12 months out the year just to do paperwork? We've heard so many complaints across the community from developers on how difficult it is to get things built. Do you all have any recommendations or just any comments on what could we do different with our website and other areas? Or are we doing duplications, or are we just kind of stuck with the way we've always done it and we don't want to make any changes? So I don't know. I'm just asking. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner. To make the process easier, what is that we eliminate the architect. We have the plan sitting on the desk. We know we could say this plan will fit on these lots. If the lot is 32 feet, we'll show them which plans will fit on that lot. And then they're already pre-approved, so building inspection doesn't even need to really review the plans. And then the neighborhood group has already seen them and they're okay with them also, so they don't have to give their recommendation either. So this would really speed up the process in getting new homes built.
Agree with what Judd said, Commissioner. That would be really the main point for these pre-approved plans. That, speaking with other jurisdictions, that was their main goal, was to speed up process and then save money for developers and address infill. That was the three big things that they all pointed to. As far as making the website more efficient, again, I think the pre-approved plans would probably go a long way towards that, especially when we're talking about smaller developers who may not have millions and millions of dollars to throw at legal fees. And, part of our process, to what I've understand, or just planning in general and from experience, you get so far into the process and then you find out, oh, well, these designs aren't going to quite work with this site. And then they have to start all over and they've already spent thousands of dollars towards a project that they're not going to be able to do. So I believe that this, once fully developed, could definitely help. It wouldn't completely eliminate the need for reviews, because as I stated during the presentation, or I hope I did, there's always site-specific challenges. That's going to be there regardless of pre-approved plans, and all of the jurisdictions I talked to also stated that as well. So I don't want to make it seem like pre-approved plans means that there's no review process at all. There still is. but that should be able to take a lot of the time out of it for developers and then also save developers quite a bit of money. How we would go about providing those plans, that would just kind of be up to the decision makers. Some cities basically licensed out the plans from an architect. Some of them actually went and bought the plans and then own that propriety themselves. So that's just kind of, I didn't go into the weeds like that during this presentation, but that would be part of the process as well. Thank you.
Thank you. One other quick question. Mr. Knapp, you mentioned to eliminate the architect. Did I hear you correctly, or just did you mean to literally eliminate the architect, or just provide an architectural
I would-
design that's already pre-done, something like that?
would say not eliminate the architect, but just if we have pre-approved plans, the architect has already designed the house and does not need to be contracted per house. We can build the same house 100 times.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Yeah, this particular conversation came about a few months ago, gathering folks from economic development, from community development, from legal, obviously from land bank, from the NRC, from planning. So there are a lot of folks. They're not all here represented, but there are a lot of people that, of course, County Administrator's Office that's been engaged with this discussion and this idea of how do we think more creatively and more innovative on housing. And you all did a phenomenal job with the presentation. I learned quite a bit. I hope you all did, and for the community as well watching. I think there's a lot we can learn from Kalamazoo, from South Bend, from Grand Rapids. I'm not even sure if they have a land bank program as well, but the fact that other communities are already there, and these aren't kind of your super wealthy giant communities, does give me a lot of hope that we can also get there as well. One of the other reasons why, before we transition to our next item, we put this together is because I wanted to kind of gauge interest. We did a lot of research and a lot of kind of throwing kind of things at the wall. It seems like the pre-approved plans is the most interesting. Everything is interesting, but it seems like the pre-approved plans is of most interest to this committee. Is that accurate? Do I kind of have some consensus there of out of all of the items that have been presented, is the pre-approved plans like the one that staff should prioritize in actually bringing forward and making decisions on so that we can bring that program to life? Or was there anything else that was presented that we would want staff to emphasize their time on? Yeah, Commissioner Ramirez.
Yes, I would agree. For me, I think the pre-approved plans is something that, we should start looking into and start implementing. If we're able to cut down time for the applicant and for us, that's more the better for us. Again, I'll reiterate, I would like us to have a zoning code change as well, so that all of this fits perfectly like a glove, and we're not going in and fixing mismatch here and there to make the pre-approved plans fit our outdated code.
Sure. Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Townsend.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One of the things I'm not sure about, first of all, I would, support pre-approved plans as one option, not to the exclusion of other options that developers may want to engage in, So I think it should be seen as an addition and not an exclusive set of plans. So I don't know if any developers were engaged. Like I said, I have several who are about to break ground. They've met with the neighborhood groups. The neighborhood groups have, given their blessing. But I want to make sure that they're looking at the needs in a variety of housing. And that's what these plans hopefully would offer and get developers to fill that gap in the type of housing. So this would be a great addition to what we have already.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I just wanted to give staff kind of some clearer direction from the committee, just as far as kind of what our current sense is. And so I know we don't necessarily have a timeline yet, but my hope is by the fall, we'll have some actionable items of what is needed to establish pre-approved plans. And once we have that, we then bring in the community, right, neighborhoods, developers, all those folks, so that they can weigh in before the final decisions are made. Yeah, Commissioner Ramirez.
Mr. Chair, a suggestion, more so for the committee and for you, suggestion to you, Mr. Chair. We heard 3 cities, Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, and South Bend. My suggestion is maybe reaching out to their planning departments or whatever department is in charge of these pre-approved plans and invite them to a committee meeting so that through Zoom, so that we can have a discussion with them. Ask them questions of how their process has gone, how well has it done for their community. Because we can read about it all, we can read all about it, but I think hearing it straight from them would be very beneficial for us as we go down this path.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Mr. Sutton, you had something to add?
Yes, Commissioner, just along those lines, and I would agree with that. Overland Park, Kansas is also in the process of doing pre-approved plans. And while they're a different community than we are, just from a legal standpoint, that was one of the things when I spoke with another municipality, is making sure that all the legal ends are tied up with the plans. So I may also add that, see if we can get Overland Park to come speak with us as well. So.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. The more the merrier. I would be interested if we had at least one from those 3 cities, even if just online. If they would be so kind to share their time, that would be great as well. And we could probably ask them about the impact and data, right? It's one thing to have the plan, but if people aren't using the plan, or if it's not a result in net new housing, that's going to be challenging. I know Commissioner Ramirez has brought up the new zoning update. Mr. Lucas, did you have any updates on that to share? Not to put you on the spot, but just want to see if there's anything else that you could educate us on.
Yes, Chair. I'd like to educate you on June 9th. We brought 3 things to the City Planning Commission regarding minimum minimum parking on the street. We came forward with the narrow lot design and the discretion of the administrator to substitute for the planning director. So 2 got held over. The narrow lot design, in which Mr. Sutton had a hand in and just suggesting we remove the word must and put in may or another filler there. But I need support to go forward. And then the county administrator is going to come and speak on his discretion, because he wanted to be able to have a bypass in case of whoever's set in the seat that I'm interim in with planning. He can override them if there was a problem with getting things done.
Gotcha. But there's no particular update on the comprehensive reform for our code for chapter 27. Am I reading that correctly?
So I can have Alyssa come and do a presentation, because I know Gunner was moving towards doing a comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the year. It got put on pause, but we have had discussions in the staff meetings. So allow me to get with Judd, and then I'll
Yeah.
coordinate with you to have her do a presentation.
Yeah, that'd be great, because I know we also got a grant for that, and I don't know what the terms or the tenets of that grant, but we need to use every free resource available as possible. So just want to make sure that we're leveraging what we currently have in place and that there's good communication between the two. Yes, legal, do you have something to add, Ms. Green?
Yes, there is currently a business development task force that meets every 2 weeks. Commissioner Stites and Commissioner Burrows are the chairs of that task force, and it's made up of different members of the business community that are developers and also business owners. And so far, we have tackled the parking requirements, and we put forth the minimum parking requirements for businesses east of 635. And that did get passed by the Planning Commission and then passed by you all
Yep.
as the Board of Commissioners. Right now, we're working on trying to come forth with recommendations for the sign code. So hopefully that will be next. So anything that developers have seen as maybe an impediment or things that they have to take, apply for variances that multiple developers
Sure.
are having to apply for variances on, we are trying to tackle that with that business development task force and see if we can make recommendations. So even though it's not a complete overhaul of the zoning code, the things that we can tackle that are the low-hanging fruit that will make it a little bit easier, we're trying to get to those through that task force.
Yeah, understood, understood. Commissioner Ramirez, do you have anything else?
Yeah, yes, thank you. Is there, with this task force, are they communicating with planning on the recommendations? Because I don't want, I want to make sure there's not too many hands in the pot making all these recommendations, but there's no communication.
Actually, we always have a member of the planning department there at the meeting. Alyssa Marcy from planning has been working with us in that, with staff. She's in there. Mike Farley from our legal department, who's the attorney for planning, as well as myself, are always in those meetings. I shouldn't say always, but Alyssa Marcy, since we've been discussing planning items specifically, has been in those meetings.
Yes, I agree. If we have some low-hanging fruit there, let's take it, but I want us to get to the point of a complete comprehensive zoning code update.
Correct.
Because it's just gonna make it a whole lot easier for us. Again, we're piecemealing. Me and Commissioner Bynum have been for over a year, been working on one piece of the code, very small word change. But again, it's that piecemeal that we're continuing to do. And so I just, again, hope we can get to the overall just comprehensive update.
Also, Chair,
Yes.
Mark, who that planning department had been working with, Gunner in 2024 has set aside our match of 150,000, so that's already been paid into
Mhm.
Mark, and we were just waiting to move forward into the 2026 year on the, amending our comprehensive plan. So, and then, like Commissioner Ramirez said, he and Bynum are working on some things that they've sent to me. I reassigned Alyssa to the mayor's business task force, development task force.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm glad that there's movement, and yeah, I think some update at the very least on what's going on with the grant and kind of where we're at on the kind of chapter 27 update, because I know that's going to be a heavy lift. Whenever staff is ready, we'd be more than happy to get an update and know what's going on. Okay, want to move on with our next item. I know we have some folks here that have been waiting patiently, so thank you all so much. Our next item is a consideration of request for a land bank option extension, and is for the Dominique Experience Foundation. And so, yeah, if y'all want to come on up, can we have some microphones just available? And about to say, Judd and Michael, don't go anywhere. We're gonna need you afterwards. But yes, please come on up. We can make sure those microphones are available. Fantastic. Hello, hello. Thank you all for waiting so patiently. We really appreciate it. Okay, for the microphone, yeah, you want it kind of at a decent distance, and when it's green, it is on. If it's red, that means it is not on. So just wants to make sure all are aware. Okay, for our guest, if you all want to go ahead and well, introduce yourselves and then get to presenting, we'd be more than happy to proceed. Please.
Good evening, Commissioners and Land Bank Review Committee. Thank you for taking the time to allow us to present to you this evening. My name is Janan Brown. I am the co-founder and vice chair of the Dominique Experience. I also have here with me Debbie Jennings. She is the founder and chairman of the board for the Dominique Experience. Also present is Darius Mathis. He is an assistant architect with Burns and McDonnell and also a board member. We also have online Justin Rogers, who is a senior design architect with Burns and McDonnell and also a board member. And we also have Stacy Tulavas. She is a senior vice president with Keller Consulting. Hello, my name is Debbie Jennings, and I'm gonna go over the project overview and historical relevance. So the Dominique Experience is developing a state-of-the-art community center on 11+ acres of donated land at 52.
Sorry, can you bring the microphone just a little bit closer? I just want to make sure folks can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that's gonna be located at 5211 Parallel Parkway. This site is formerly housed the segregated Wyandotte Swim Club. This project will transform this site into a vibrant hub for equity, healing, and opportunity. It aligns with the county priorities, youth and economic development, childcare, health access, and financial literacy. Then and now, from the historic Wyandotte Swim Club to the future state-of-the-art Dominique Experience Aquatic Center. And just to give you a little background about the Wyandotte Swim Club, it had the first two Olympic-sized swimming pools in the Midwest. They hosted AAU tournaments and Olympic champions. And FYI, Dominique's first job was a lifeguard at Schlitterbahn. So his first job was taking care of people and saving lives. Another little background here is Fox 4 News. They did an article and it was titled, "Once a Dream Come True, Now in Ruins." This sparked my attention because I previously told my sister that faith is like a dream come true. She then read the full article and told me that the grand opening date was July the 4th, 1958. So this heightened my attention even more. Why? Because Dominique's birthday was on July the 4th. I then began to pursue securing the land. Our plans are to revitalize the land and bring the dream back to life. Our strategic goals and alignments support key county initiatives. This includes the Wyandotte County Community Needs Assessment, where the community has identified needs that they feel Wyandotte County and the unified government need. It also supports the Community Health Improvement Plan, the MARC Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, and the Unified Government Parks Master Plans. Our goals restated are to establish a multi-generational center for education, wellness, and economic mobility. We plan to launch a phased capital campaign starting from 20 million, expanding to 47 million. The campaign will take place over a span of 3.5 to 5 years. We will deliver tailored programs for Wyandotte County families. Our fundraising progress to date includes secured over $469,000 in-kind donations. That includes the land, Unified Government Grant Land Extension. We did have comparables completed on the land from a realtor who indicated the land is worth anywhere from $150,000 to $700,000. We also had our environmental assessments completed by KDHE and Unified Government. Both Phase 1 and 2 assessments have been completed. which have identified that all 11+ acres of the land are able to be built on. We also have architectural renderings created from Burns and McDonnell. We also have in-kind staffing of $104,000 in 2025 alone. We did start this project in 2019, so you would multiply that times the 6 years. Our 2024 gala earned us $26,000 in donated and that includes corporate sponsorships from Burns and McDonnell, J.E. Dunn, St. Luke's, Providence Medical Center, and the Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools Foundation. We intend to double our gala revenue in this upcoming gala. We also hired our fundraising consultant with Keller Consulting. She assisted us with creating our case statement, our budget, as well as board restructuring. I will now hand it over to Stacy Tulavaz, who will go over our fundraising strategy, partnerships, and sustainability.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, wonderful. Well, so my name is Stacy Tulavaz. I'm with Keller Consulting, and I apologize for not being there, but I just was not able to. So Keller Consulting is a local regional consulting firm that works with folks in developing their fundraising capacities as well as plans. So we started in March. Debbie and Janan were doing their due diligence, and Burns and McDonnell had recommended us to kind of help with that process. And so they set their sights to raising the funds for our services, and here we are. So at this point, and overall, the process of our strategy and our fundraising, it's going to be incredibly thoughtful. It's intentional. We recognize we have a long game in doing this and creating this incredible vision and making this a reality, but we have a plan. It's a layered strategy with phased fundraising that'll involve both public and private financing, as well as using different tools and sources. We're going to blend our philanthropic giving with an earned revenue model, as well as looking at strategic partnerships with individuals that kind of support us. So a little more detail is you can see it. Phased capital campaign. We're going to be looking at different sources. Keller works with and is familiar with those local, regional, state, national funding sources that can bring to bear in this type of situation. So we'll be working with them to do that. So that's where we are right now. We're creating that phased capital campaign, and you're going to see a little bit more about that on the next slide. We're really expanding our individual and corporate giving. We're doing that. We're going to build on the gala success. They had incredible success. We're doing other events to launch that corporate and individual engagement that really drives fundraising. Again, creating that fee-for-service model, looking at social enterprise as a way to bring in those funds, working with other strategic partners, like the Kansas Department of Commerce. We'll be working with them on, they have specifically a community centers new build grant, and most of you are familiar with, that we'll be looking at. We're partnering with IFF, which is a real estate firm. If you haven't heard about them, they do flexible lending, they do capital advising, they do pre-development plan. They're specifically a Midwest support. They support only not-for-profits as they're working to strengthen their communities. They support specifically in that area. We'll, of course, be working with health and education partners like the YMCA, Vibrant, Blue Cross Blue Shield, not just on partnering, but actually on financial partnerships as well. And then ongoing dialogue has continued with the bigger players in town as well, like Kaufman and Wyandotte Health Foundation. We fit into all of the newly developed strategic priorities for the Kaufman Center. So when there's the right time and the right vehicle or the right grant, we'll be going to them as well. At this point, we're focused on capacity building. And we've, as you can see, we've submitted some grants, and we'll put another plug in for our Hollywood Casino grant for the commissioners in the room. We requested $35,000 for that as a minimum, and we're hoping that we'll see that support. That certainly will help our credibility and viability as we go forward. And we have additional grants that are coming up that we'll be pursuing as well. There are other large grant sources that are not listed on this. This is our focus on capacity building, which is kind of our pre-capital campaign phase. Our next step is again, you've got this layered plan. So next, Janan will go over with you the site plan and actually our phasing so you can see how it will all flow.
Here is an example of what the current site plan for the Dominique Experience looks like. As you can see, we have an entertainment wing as well as an education wing. We do plan to revitalize the swim aspect of that center due to its rich history, and also, of course, it's a need in Wyandotte County as we don't have a lot of public access to pools. We will also have a gymnasium available. We also plan to be able to host AAU tournaments at our facility. We have also been in contact with the owner of the Barton Ross Complex. He has agreed to partner with us as well. If you will see at the very top, one of the things that we identified is the need for us to go ahead and have the land grant extended to us and have the land deeded over to us. To do so, we plan in phase 2, the items at the very top, at the beginning of the site, we will build a basketball court as well as some parking. We also want to either build an equipment space or, in best case scenario, we'll build an event space that allows people to be able to host birthday parties or host meetings there so that we're meeting that immediate community need. And of course, with our focus still being on childcare, financial literacy, healthcare access. And we do, as I mentioned, have the architects who created the renderings who are available, our esteemed colleagues with Burns and McDonald, to answer any questions you may have after the presentation. Our project timeline for phases 1 and 2. Phase 1, we are currently in, and that includes our organizational and campaign readiness. This will take place during 2025 and 2026. During this phase, we will develop our community center operational model and finalize budget. We plan to grow our gala engagement and fundraising. We also plan to engage Keller Consulting for our consultant and campaign readiness. And actually, that's already taken place, the campaign readiness. We will implement fundraising initiatives such as grants, events, donor cultivation, and annual corporate sponsorships. The estimated cost for phase 1 is $130,000 to $150,000 with a timeline of 12 to 18 months. During phase 1, actually phase 2 is our site activation and early development, which we plan to be completed by late 2026. We plan to continue community awareness events such as our cleanup day that we hosted in May. We are also going to do our zoning, permitting, pre-construction documentation. We plan to begin the site work as far as the items that I mentioned on the previous slide to get the land deeded over. That includes parking, lighting, that recreational area, and the equipment shed / event space. We plan to host a groundbreaking and community visibility events. The estimated cost for phase 2 is $150,000 to $500,000 with a timeline of 8 to 12 months. Total expected costs for phase 1 and 2 are $280,000 to $650,000. We do plan to get a shovel in the ground during phase 2. Phase 3 includes the core facility construction, which we plan to take place during 2026 to 2028. We will establish our core construction budget, finalize design, engineering, and permitting, build welcome center, coffee shop, event flex space, basketball courts, classrooms, childcare, and service areas. So our intention with the original core facility is to put things in place that will start to generate income for us right away. The estimated cost for phase 3 is $15 to $25 million with a timeline of 18 to 24 months. Our phase 4 is our expansion in specialized programming spaces to take place between 2028 and 2029. We plan to extend the facility to include our fitness center, a community library. workforce labs, early childhood development, and our water park. During that time, we will secure additional grants, endowments, and named gifts. The estimated cost is 15 to 25 million with a timeline of 12 to 18 months. The total estimated project cost is 30 to 50 million. Why this matters? So why does this matter and what we are requesting? So the project reclaims and reimagines a space with deep-rooted community history. Major milestones achieved are the architectural renderings, environmental clearances, foundation, and partner engagement. And why do I want, my vision for the community is I live here in the community. And I would love to see more access and opportunity for everybody in Wyandotte County, not just certain areas, but all areas. So we envision this being a resource hub, a place where everybody can be successful in life. Another vision I have, another thing that I've noticed, I'm a registered nurse, and I worked 22 years at St. Luke Hospital on the Plaza. These last 2 years, I've been at the community hospital in Wyandotte. And Wyandotte County it has a stigma, I'll say that. So our goal is to change the narratives about Wyandotte County and become a more positive, and have a more positive reputation. It's not a coincidence that this site is centrally located. It's in the heart of Wyandotte County. And what this center to me represent metaphorically is my son's heart. He had a big, pure heart, and he desired that everybody have access and opportunity to live this American dream. Lastly, our request is that the extension of the land grant agreement, our request is to extend the land grant agreement to sustain and accelerate the progress thus far. Thank you to the Unified Government Land Grant Extension Committee for your time, consideration, and continued partnership. Your support is helping transform a site of historical exclusion into a powerful center for inclusion, equity, and opportunity. We are honored to work together and create a lasting legacy for Wyandotte County. The Dominique experience is not just visionary, it's essential.
Thank you all so much. And again, we really, really appreciate your time. I'm sure our committee members have some questions for you just to get some clarity on things. But again, we really, really appreciate you all being here. Before we get to those questions, we'll open this up for public comment just to see if there's anyone online at this point that would want to provide public comment, and then we will proceed. Clerk, did anyone provide a public comment for this item?
No comments were received.
Are any hands raised online?
There are no hands raised.
Okay. Would anybody in the gallery like to approach? Okay, let the record show no one has. I will go ahead and close the public comment portion. I do want, but before we do questions, just to put all this in context, staff, if you all can help me, we had awarded the Dominique Experience a 2-year land bank extension. They're coming back asking for more time, and they've done quite a substantial amount of work to get to this point. What's the current request for the land bank option, Mr. Knapp or Mr. Sutton? How long is the request for?
It looks like phase 2 starts in late 2026. So
Would it be a year, 2 years?
it could be 1 or 2 years. I think you could set whatever you want to do.
What would you all, just for your request, how long would you want?
We're requesting a minimum of 2 years. I know Judd did mention on some occasions you all are able to extend further, so we'd be happy with as much time as possible.
Okay, great. Yeah, the way that we have it right now is the maximum you can get is 2 years. We give staff the discretion to provide up to 2 years again, and then you would have to come back. So you all are doing it the right way under the new policy, which we deeply appreciate your interest in doing so. Okay, I'm sure folks are like, he needs to shut up. So Commissioner Townsend, then Commissioner Ramirez.
Thank you. Good evening, Ms. Jennings, Ms. Brown, Mr. Rogers, and is it Tu Lavaz?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't want to murder it, okay. Well, as I look around the room, I think I'm the only one here on the committee left from when you came initially in 2019. And I remember you so well because it was quite the undertaking. I will admit too, I think that place was open at some time that I recall in the past because my brother played a lot of ball in down the street as you head west in that ball field. So I knew that quite well. Reclaiming this will it's not a reclamation, in my opinion, so much as a takeover and an eradication of unfair and discriminatory activity. So I was looking for you all on the casino grant. Now, I will say I have not seen a casino grant application from you all. So, and I mention that because I want you to take advantage of that. You can't get a yes unless you put that in. So from here on, and I believe next year, there will be, as a result of additional revenues coming in from one of the developments. Is a home field, correct me if I'm wrong?
The Hollywood Casino Hotel,
Hollywood
and I think
Casino.
that's in 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. I don't, our legal can assist on that,
Uh,
but please proceed, Commissioner.
Okay, well, the 2 years would cover obviously what you're moving forward. So I would urge you to put in for the Hollywood casino grant.
And I believe Stacy may be able to speak to this. Stacy, did we submit that grant for the Hollywood Casino?
We did.
Well, the other option is it didn't get to me because I remember this, and so I did not see it. And there are applications that the body does not see, unfortunately, sometimes. So keep on, learn from, past. You might check with the people who, the foundation who oversees that to see what happened, that it didn't move on, because there is a weeding out process, so to speak. So we may not, because I was on the lookout for it, but I would encourage you to do that. So your completion date, you're saying, is 2026, shovel in the ground in 2026?
So not completion, that's just the initial groundbreaking, which allows us to hopefully have the land deeded to us. So during that first phase, what we will do is put a basketball court as well as an event space and parking.
Okay,
The final project completion is 2029. 2028, the initial phase should allow us to have the building itself built, but we're going to phase it with the additional small items. So if everything goes as planned, it will be functional in 2028, and then we'll continue to build from there on.
and that's with, as you say, what, the community center or the pavilion you're looking for first?
Yes, so the first phase will include the community center. It will include our childcare space. It will also include, I'm sorry, it was on one of these slides. But the community center space. So we are looking at implementing items that will bring in revenue, which allows us to keep going. So of course,
Okay.
childcare is a huge need in the area.
Yeah.
And not only will we be doing childcare, we'll also plan on doing early childhood development.
Okay, all right. Well, that is clarifying for me. I know there was a lot of talk about the swimming pool, so I didn't know if that was gonna be your first go-to activity or much later one, but I like your strategy better to go with the, that. And a heads up on the swimming, once you get the infrastructure and all of that, another challenge will be, where do you get your lifeguards from? Because that was a challenge after COVID that certain people didn't seem to understand for a while. You can't open any pool without the lifeguards. So Unified Government now has a contract. Prior to COVID, our lifeguards were summer employees of the Unified Government, but we just weren't getting the numbers. So heads up to you on that. So, well, I wish you well and would fully support another two-year extension. Now, clarify for me, and this is for council, Mr. Knapp, is currently, this is an option agreement, not a hold. They're beyond hold, is that correct? Or where are we on that?
They're on an option agreement currently.
Okay, okay, thank you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I just wanted to provide just some clarification on the Hollywood Casino grant. So I did see you all's application. You all are on the awards list. You asked for $35,000, correct? For that,
Yes.
okay. So the total that you all received for this year for Hollywood Casino grant was $9,500. And so that's how much all of the commissioners put in. There was three for this particular application. So I hope you all are able to continue to apply. I know it's not as much. I think we had, good God, like $3 million worth of requests and like $474 to allocate. So I don't want anybody to look at any numbers and be like, why was it so low? We had way more mouths to feed than food. And so, but again, I do help. I know that every bit will help in this particular project, but I didn't want you all thinking you didn't apply for the grant. Yes, before we go to Commissioner Hill, yes, Commissioner Townsend.
Well, I apologize. I didn't see it or didn't know who we were. So keep applying anyway, and maybe there's something we can do later, you know, so don't be discouraged.
No, not at all.
You know, if you ask for 35 and don't get close to that, because, hey, we have not because we ask not, so, you know, and there are a lot of requests all the time, so I'll keep a better eye on you. Do you anticipate another fundraising?
We will host our second annual gala October 5th
Okay,
of this year.
thank you.
Awesome, awesome. I'm sure you all will be making invitations as well. And yeah, to echo Commissioner Townsend, please do keep applying. It's you all's first year applying for the Hollywood. So I think that's the other thing too, of just kind of people becoming more familiar with your organization. I've seen, I'm even looking at this list, some folks where that second, third year, they went from getting a third of their requests to now 75 to 80% of their requests. And so, yeah, Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the Dominique Experience team. Certainly exciting to hear your plans, your strategy. I love the piece about inclusion, equity, and opportunity. This is really exciting. And I share the same sentiments as our fellow Commissioner Townsend, who mentioned eradication in that area. So thank you for that. I just have one major question. In your phase one, you mentioned the early child care facility and the event center and a basketball court. And I'd like to know what is your proposed square footage for the community center and early child care facility? What's the square footage?
So total square footage is 63,000. Justin, are you available to discuss the square footage for this childcare center itself?
Yes, hello. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so actually, we have roughly around 50,000 square feet for the childcare. Well, the first phase of what we're talking about. I think the actual total square footage, Janan, including the level two spaces and the entire footprint of the building is around 85,000 square feet, actually.
Okay, thank you. And about, you mentioned how much it would be. Did you say, I don't want to be crazy. So what was for phase one, how much was your proposed cost?
So phase one only includes our capital campaign, as well as phase two, including our initial site activation. So that first phase is anticipated to cost between 150,000 to 500,000. One thing I forgot to mention during my presentation is the land being extended to us gives us more leverage with fundraising, as well as being able to get additional financing for that center. I know IFF, if you have a moment, it would be great to take a look at them, but they offer up to $6 million in financing. They actually reached out to us from another connection, and they're highly supportive of the project and have offered their support once we get a little further down the line.
Okay, thank you so much. I still want to encourage you to continue to work on this project. It is exciting, and hopefully we can be of help in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, I echo what my colleagues have expressed. I think just the history, the story, wanting to improve, particularly an area of Wyandotte County that is kind of in the in-between. Y'all aren't quite in my district. You're kind of across the street, but you're on the west side of District 1. And so I have constituents that are very familiar with that area and that live in that area and want more amenities, things to do in that area. And so I think parallel, particularly the eastern side of our community, is an underutilized corridor that I think you all are wanting to activate. So that's amazing. I also love, right, this is very, very ambitious. And so I like the idea of, hey, in 2 years, you can reasonably expect these particular things. I think when some people see $47 million, it can be like, oh, wow, that's a lot of money. And so I really, really respect the work that you all have done to be realistic, to be data-driven, and to really work with partners so that you can start piecing it together. With that being said, this is an action item. Yes, Commissioner Townsend.
Oh. Are you ready, Mr. Chair, to?
I was going to say, if y'all are ready, we can go ahead and vote, but if you had something else to add.
Just one other question. Where will your gala be held this year?
It's actually held right here in Kansas City, Kansas. Not sure if you're familiar with the Chateau Avalon Hotel. They actually have an event space called the Event Orangery. That's where we held it last year. It was a beautiful space, and they're a big supporter as well.
So that's the
Yeah.
site of,
And we can definitely send out invitations to our gala to all of you.
okay, thank you. Well, with that said, I move to extend for another 2 years the option agreement for the Dominique Experience.
Commissioner Hill, second.
All right. We have a motion to accept and to approve this land bank extension for 2 years and a second. Clerk, can you get the roll?
Roll call, Hill,
Aye.
Ramirez,
Aye.
Townsend,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
motion carries.
All right. Congratulations. Thank you all so much. We look forward to the good news of the progress on your project.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. So we're going to transition here to the last two pieces of our agenda, which is our land bank options. Ladies, thank you again for bringing you and your team here. Thank you. We will be in touch. Have a good night.
Ready to get started?
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you, Commissioner. Again, Michael Sutton, redevelopment coordinator. We're starting with the new constructions. So item A1, located at 939 Miami Avenue. They're looking to do one home, 3-bed, 2-bath. Item A2, 1045 and looking to do one home, 3-bed, 2-bath. Item A3, is 3536 Ford Avenue. Applicants looking to do one home, 3-bed, 3-bath. Item A4, 1104 Laurel Avenue. Applicants looking to do one home, 1-bed, 2-bath. Item A5, 2731 Glen Rose Lane. Applicants looking to do one home with 2-bed, 2-bath. Item A6, 435 South 72nd Terrace. Applicants looking to do one home, 3-bed, 2-bath. Item A7, 2101 North 77th Street. Applicants looking to do one home, 3-bed, 2-bath. Item A8, located at 1510 North 49th Street. Applicants doing one home, 3-bed, 3-bath. Item A9, 1812 North 51st Terrace. Applicants looking to do one home, 3-bed, 3-bath. Item A10, located at 2817 South 28th Street. Applicants looking to do one home, 3-bed, 2-bath. Item A11, located at 805 North 12th Street. This applicant's looking to do one home, 3-bed, 2-bath. Item A12, 2515 North 63rd Street. This applicant's looking to do one home, 3-bed, 2-bath. Item A13, located at 3224 North 44th Terrace. Applicants looking to do one home, 3-bed, 1-bath. Item A16, located at 3016 North 48th Terrace. Applicants looking to do one unit, or excuse me, one home, 3-bed, 2-bath. And the final for the single-family homes, item A17, applicants looking to do, located at 3220 Georgia Avenue. Applicants looking to do two single-family homes, 3-bed, 2-bath on both locations here. I'm sorry, this one actually is two separate parcels. They're looking to do one home here and then one here. That concludes for all the single-family homes.
Okay. Thank you so much, staff. We're going to do public comment portion. It's going to be a little bit different and much more simpler. So staff has already laid out the item number, that's A17, A13, and the address. And so what I'm going to do is ask if there's anybody for public comment for the items that were just named. If you have a public comment for any of those items on A, now would be your time. We would need to know which item you're wanting to speak to or items, and then of course your name and city of residence, okay? Clerk, do we have any comments for the items that were just discussed?
No comments were received.
Any hands raised online?
There are no hands raised online.
Okay, would anybody in the gallery like to speak to the A items? Let the gallery show no one has approached. I will go ahead and close the public comment portion. Okay, we're going to be doing that to simplify it. It'll be the same with the property transfers as a staff reads them out. That will be the time for the public to know if they want to do a public comment for those particular items. Commissioner Hill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have a question. Is this the time for a question or do I need to wait a couple minutes?
Oh, yeah, public comment period I've closed it. So yes, this is the time for comments from the commission and action as well.
Okay, thank you. Just one quick question on A12. If you could pull that back up on the screen, it was such a different kind of, yes, it has such a different look. So I would just want to ask Mr. Sutton and Mr. Knapp, how is this configuration different from, would this require something different, or are they gonna, it just is so different as far as way it looks. So I'm just asking.
Right.
Yes, okay.
Yes, Commissioner Hill. So this is an interesting one. I believe talking with staff when we did this, this is actually, I want to say 12 to 13 lots that were combined at some point. We don't know when. And then we're thinking that it never really got developed because it appears there may actually be some stormwater detention going through this tract. So yeah, that's why it's kind of weird. I believe if you look at the original plat for this, it's actually 12, 13 lots that were combined into one. So that's why it has that weird shape on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions? Okay, is there a motion?
Move to approve all items submitted for the single-family homes.
Townsend, second.
All right, clerk, can we get the roll?
Roll call. Hill,
Aye.
Ramirez,
Aye.
Townsend,
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. All right, let's do B, which is what, multi-unit housing? Yep. All right, please proceed. We'll do just Bs and then vote and then do the property transfers.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. For our B items, which are multifamily, we have two of them. Item B1 is located at 3410 Barber Avenue. It's actually a combination of 3 lots, but this applicant would like to do a total of 15 units, with the units having 3-bed, 2-bath. And then right down the street, we have another developer trying to do 3528 Barber Avenue. They are looking to do a duplex here. So 2 units, each with 3-bed, 2-bath. Thank you.
Thank you. We will do public comment portion again. We have these 2 items that have been read out, B1 3410 Barber Avenue, and then B2 3528 Barber Avenue. Clerk, did we receive any comment for these items for B?
No comments were received.
Any hands raised online?
There are no hands raised online.
Okay. Anyone in the gallery like to approach? Let the record show no one has approached. I'll go ahead and close the public comment portion. Committee, any questions or is there a motion? Yes, Commissioner Townsend.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Townsend, did have a question. Is 15 in total between these 3 pieces of property that the applicant is seeking, or they're going to build? This is multifamily, I guess that's what I'm asking about in the area. There's no zoning problem or issue that we're aware of right now? And I know this is a bit premature, but still, I'm just curious about that.
I do not believe so. We did have a staff meeting that did include planning, and they didn't bring anything up. And with it being zone R2, they should be able to, for that type, they should be able to continue with that, I believe.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ramirez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. These two are in my district. I know I'm trying to get my bearing straight of where 3410 is. Zoom out a little bit more.
New Stanley's North, right?
Okay.
On 37th?
Yeah.
Am I reading that right?
It's close to Ruby Park.
Mm.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, if there are no other comments, is there a motion?
Move to approve both B1 and B2.
Is there a second?
Second,
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve both items. Clerk, can we get the roll?
Roll call, Hill,
Aye.
Ramirez,
Aye.
Townsend,
aye.
Davis,
Aye.
motion carries.
Okay, so now we are on to the property transfers, which are becoming quite popular now that we've allowed yard extensions. Originally, there was going to be 77. We are not going to go through 77 tonight. And so I'm still working with staff on efficiency. Right now, the maximum is 25 that we will take on. We had a pretty light agenda. So how this will work is staff will just read through the addresses and kind of point out any particular comments. After that, I'll ask for public comment for all the items. I'm not going to go through them individually. After public comment, we'll discuss and then we'll vote. All right? All right, please take it away.
Thank you, Commissioner. I do have an announcement on some of our property transfers. I got notice from our codes department. I had to pull some last second here. So items PT7, PT21, and PT23 have all been pulled due to code violations.
Okay. And Mr. Sen, have we notified those applicants that they've been pulled yet?
Not yet. I will be doing that tomorrow.
Great, great. If we can notify them, because we do make it a mandate that if you're going to apply for something like this, you need to be up to date on your taxes and all those things before you can get a yard extension. So we appreciate staff's eye on this. Please proceed.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have 44 South 13th Street, 912 Cleveland Avenue, 1237 Wood Avenue, 1210 Georgia Avenue, 1037 Walker Avenue, 1224 Wood Avenue, 702 North 11th Street, and this is a garden, 2731 Walker Avenue, 1228 Argentine Boulevard, 1855 North 29th Street, 6133 Roland Avenue, 3071 North 21st Street. And this one did have opposition from the neighborhood due to lack of contact with the neighborhood. 2937 Stewart Avenue, 40 South 11th Street, 617 Riverview Avenue, 1023 Sandusky Avenue, 1511 North 34th Street, 1046 Freeman Avenue, 1038 Barnett Avenue, 1924 North 14th Street, 351 North 31st Street, 1406 North 11th Street, 2231 Garfield Avenue, and 1716 New Jersey Avenue. This concludes all the property transfers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Those addresses have been read, and so clerk, I'll go ahead and ask for any of the items that have just been discussed, PT1 through PT25. Was there any public comments?
No comments were received.
Did you have a comment?
I apologize. Yes, it looks like I actually, for some reason, did not pull PT 23. So this 1406 North 11th Street, this should not be on here. This one was pulled. My apologies.
You're fine, because I know PT12 as well, so we'll group them together. Okay, so clerk, there were no public comments for this item. Any hands raised online?
There are no hands raised online.
Okay, for the folks here in the gallery, would anybody like to approach? Let the record show there is no public comment in the gallery. I'll go ahead and close the public comment portion. So I took notes here. PT12, they need to speak with the neighborhood, and that is OCP, Parkwood, who's the neighborhood?
OCP Commissioner.
Okay, cool. So we need to make sure that that applicant is aware. And then the issue with PT 23, was that one of the codes issues, or what's the deal there?
That is correct, Commissioner. For whatever reason, our presentation just didn't update. It's
Okay,
not up there anymore, so we're good.
okay, gotcha. Okay. All right, yes, Commissioner, yes.
Agreeing with Lee.
Yes,
I just want to point out, because when I noted the comment that the neighborhood group said they hadn't had contact with them, I just wanted to remind the committee that that is we did make that part of the requirement for the option agreement, that the applicants were strongly recommended to make contact with the neighborhood groups, but that is not part of the yard extension.
okay, cool. So we'll have to go in and make that adjustment. We'll still use our discretion and prefer that.
I just wanted to make sure.
Sure, yeah. That'll be something that we'll have to go through, but it'll still be our discretion to conditionally award. So I'm sure we all would agree. We would want the applicants to reach out to the neighborhood group, and we'll get working on that policy change. Okay, public comment has been closed. This is the last item on the agenda. We've noted PT 12 because PT 23 is not on the agenda. Thank you all for removing that. For PT 12, the need to speak with OCP neighborhood. Any questions, colleagues? Yes, Commissioner Townsend.
Thank you. Well, with regard to PT 12, I think what I understood council to say, there's no need based on the current policy. Is that right?
That's correct.
I mean, there's no requirement. And the neighborhood is aware because they said it, but I guess I know I have, and to be consistent, concerns about us imposing policy that doesn't exist, since we did go through an extensive policy opportunity update. So to be fair, there's no current obligation with regard to yard extension. Might be a good thing to take under account later, but to be totally fair to the applicant, obviously OCP is aware now that this is yard extension. So I would like to see this included as we look to move. So I would make a motion to, now I know some were pulled, so I'm going to ask for the help again of Mr. Sutton. PT7, that was pulled.
That's correct, Commissioner.
issue?
PT7, PT21, and PT23 were all pulled due to code violations.
So PT7, PT what, 21,
21,
and PT
23,
3?
that's correct.
Okay. My motion would be to approve the other property transfer applications with the exception of PT7, PT21, PT23.
Yes, did you have something?
I actually pulled those from,
Oh, sure.
the meeting, so they're not even,
Yeah.
they're not even on
the
here,
screen,
Commissioner.
but I know Commissioner, you
Just
had
to
them.
be clear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're not voting on those items that were pulled. Okay, so there was a motion to approve all of those items. We'll get working on that policy change. It'll be something minor. Ms. Green, if you can get that to me. Before our August meeting, because I think that's the next time we meet. Okay, there was a motion. Is there a second?
Hill
Okay.
second.
All right, there was a second to approve all the property transfers with the exception of the ones that have been pulled due to code violations. Clerk, can we get the roll?
Roll call, Hill,
Aye.
Ramirez. Townsend,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
motion carries.
Okay, that is our business for the evening. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, clerk, can we get the roll?
Roll call, Hill,
Aye.
Ramirez. Townsend,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
motion carries.
All right, thank you all so much. Happy 4th and have a good evening.